Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Project Football channel. Today, me and Tom are going to be doing our Euro 26-man squad. We've already
Indeed.
done this before on Adam's podcast, The Goal Anger, as you would have heard us reference in the welcome video. But it's a lot closer now, and the squad's been announced any day now. So this is kind of the most up-to-date one we're going to get. Injuries taken into consideration. There's going to be some chopping and changing from the squad that we would have selected a couple of months ago. So it's going to be an interesting one. We're actually going to have to agree on a squad as well, which is where the debate part's going to come into play.
Should be saucy.
It definitely should be saucy. So we've got to agree on a squad. We're going to go through the goalkeepers, the defenders, all the way to the forwards. And yeah, are you ready, Tom?
I am, yeah. It could be a battle of resilience at some points.
Yeah.
But
so
we'll see.
If you enjoy the videos, guys, make sure to drop a like and please subscribe and comment your thoughts on our squad and your own. I'd love to hear it.
Exactly.
Right.
And obviously, if we disagree on anything, I'll put some polls out for you to answer so we can settle the debate. We'll start off with a nice, easy little debate to get you warmed up, guys. Which England shirt is better? The turquoise
I think it's mine personally.
Or the red? See, I like the red one, but I still feel more.
I think we can all agree
blue.
that new black one they've brought out is gonna be slapping the sales though.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. If you haven't seen that, guys, go check it out on Score Draw. But anyway, Brendan, I'll let you take it away.
So yes, let's start with the goalkeepers then, Thomas. Who have you got as your three goalkeepers?
Okay, so my three goalkeepers, I've got Nick Pope, Jordan Pickford, and Sam Johnston.
Oh, so there's no Dean Henderson.
No Dean Henderson. I just don't feel like. I know he's been playing a lot for Man United recently, of late, probably more than De Gea, particularly in the Premier League as well. I'm just not convinced. I'm not. I don't feel like he's ready for a European tournament or international tournament.
Well,
anyway.
Yeah, that's completely fair enough. But some might argue that he's not actually going to start in the tournament anyway. So
that is true. Yeah,
it's worth taking him. Although Johnston's equally a good pick.
He's had a phenomenal season. He's had a phenomenal season. That was literally why I put him in there, just on his season alone on merit. Yeah. So that. I'm happy to go with Henderson, but I just feel like Johnston deserved it more. But
that's completely fair enough. I've gone with Henderson because I like it. I like his distribution a bit more than Johnston. Johnston's obviously a great shot stopper, but I like Henderson. He's got a massive throw in him. He's not Pickford, but he's probably a bit better with Pope with sort of distribution as well. So I've just gone Henderson, but ultimately neither of them would start for me had them picked either. So it doesn't make too much of a difference to me.
Do you want to just go with Henderson or?
We'll go with Henderson, not to upset the Man United faithful. But
yeah,
although to be fair, I don't think there's that many people that are convinced by him either. Like I just watched the kickoff clips just this morning, and Adam, who's on the kickoff, he said that he's not even convinced by Henderson yet. So
there you go. I mean, Sam Johnston's a Man United youth boy, so he did come from the ranks of United. So United fans might still side with Johnston anyway, but
maybe. Definitely his shot stopping. He's definitely proven himself in that aspect.
Yeah.
It's the other side of his game and whether he fits into the system. If you didn't know, by the way, guys, we're both on the beers. So I'm not on beer, but while you're watching, make sure you get yourself a beer. We always encourage drinking, not if you're under 18. But yeah, so there's the three goalkeepers, lads. Let's move on to the defenders.
Right, so guys, now we're going to look at our defenders. This is big. I feel like more for the fullback regions that there could be a little bit of debate, but I feel like centre backs, it's relatively simple since we're quite lightweight, I'd say, for depth in the centre back roles. But we'll cover that now. I'll start with you, Brandon. Shall we start with left backs?
I'll start with the left backs. I feel like that's probably the easiest picks out of all of them, to be fair.
Yeah,
I think there's with the three extra men onto the squad. Obviously, I feel like both of us might have picked another right back. I obviously haven't seen your squad yet, but I think left backs those two spots which are just really solid. So I've obviously gone with the typical Shaw and Ben Chilwell. And it also, both of them could play also depending what system you play. I feel like if we play a back three with wing backs, then Chilwell's the best option for the left wing back. But in a back four, like most of us kind of hope we're going to start with, then Shaw's your man. and I feel like that's nailed on.
100%. I've gone for the same too, Shaw and Chilwell. For me, like you said, if it was sort of a back five, with with your wing backs, then I would look to favour Chilwell. But if we were starting with the formation we've been playing of late, which is more of a 4-3-3, in internationals, I would much rather see Luke Shaw in the side. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like he's been
completely agree.
exactly. I feel like he's been crucial for Man United this season. He's looking like the player he was supposed to be 3 or 4 years ago when he first arrived on the scene. But obviously, injury sort of stopped that pathway for him. And it looked like, to be honest, it looked like his time at Man United was going to be cut short.
At one
Because
point, yeah.
he just couldn't really break in. But the last couple of seasons, I'd say this season and the back end of last season, he's just really earned his place in there, and I'm glad Solskjaer's given him that chance, and I'm excited to see what he can do in the Euros.
Yeah, me too. Completely glad. Shall we move on to the other fullbacks, the right backs?
Yeah, go on then. We'll go right backs now.
All right, go on. This is where it's going to start. First question: have you picked three?
Yes.
Okay, then. So we both picked three. I feel like this is obviously the first of the extra three players that we're going to get, and this is where we've both decided to use that wild card.
Yeah.
So the first one, which hasn't changed for me, is Kyle Walker.
Same. I've gone Kyle Walker.
Yeah, he's had a good season. He's reliable. Southgate trusts him. I trust him certainly.
Yeah.
And he also obviously can play in a back three should we need to. And he also, to be fair, if we played a back three and maybe someone like a Trent at wing back or a Trippier,
I was going to say he can play
his
Walker.
His pace will cover for that sort of position, so we can sort of get on a little bit. My second pick is Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yep, I have Trent in mine as well.
Okay.
I've just got a feeling that the last pick might be different. I feel like I know who yours is going to be, and I feel like I know who mine is. But you might have the same as me. Yeah.
I think we'll have the same.
Okay. Go on then. You go first.
Just firstly on Alexander-Arnold, it's not because I'm scared of Liverpool fans, right? Okay. I think him being left out of the last squad, I feel like Southgate was trying to send him a message.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's worked. Whether he'll still pick him, I don't know. He has obviously quite a pragmatic style, but I feel like he's definitely earned it. Since he was dropped from the England squad, his performances has been absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I feel like Trent Alexander-Arnold has definitely earned his place back. But the fact that we've got an extra three players now, which gives us the option of taking another right back, probably you might get in anyway.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think, if you looked at it a year ago, you'd have said Trent was the best option. But I just feel like off this season, Kyle Walker's been fantastic, and it'd be hard to leave him out of that squad for me. And he's the most reliable and most consistent out of all the options. But Alexander-Arnold, we know what quality he has on his day, even from set pieces as well. He's got good set piece attributes to his game, maybe not as consistent as a Ward-Prowse or someone like that, but he's certainly got that area to his game, similar to Trippier. So, yeah, no, I think it's justified. We all know how good Trent can be on his day, and hopefully that shows, and he earns his place in the Euro squad.
Yes, guys. Yes, the thumbnails for clickbait. Okay. I'm sorry. But yeah, the third right back then. This is where it's going to get interesting. I'll let you go first.
I've gone Aaron Wan-Bissaka. You've gone Reece James, haven't you?
I have gone Reece James.
I told you this would happen. I knew this would be the case.
Wan-Bissaka, really?
Yeah. I just feel like personally he's more technically gifted than Reece James is. Reece James probably has had a better season, a bit more form, but the better of the two players on their day for me is Wan-Bissaka. Would I be okay with taking Reece James? Yes, 100%, especially since the role he's been playing under Tuchel recently. He has been slotting into a back three actually, and playing that centre back role. And
him and Azpilicueta have sort of been playing it around between, haven't they?
Exactly.
Sort of a right wing back and a right centre back.
It's perfect timing for the Euros as well, because we are so in dire need of centre back cover that if James can keep it up, because I actually thought he played quite well in that centre back role in the FA Cup final. I was very impressed. then I'm happy to take James over Wan-Bissaka. But if you're looking at pure quality right back, the better of the two on their day would be Wan-Bissaka for me, especially just general tackling ability. Maybe not so much work rate compared to Reece James and going forward, but Wan-Bissaka defensively, he's got it all tackling wise.
Yeah, no, you're making good points. I definitely don't disagree that he's probably our best defensive fullback, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But well, for me, you've got to look at a number of scenarios. Would Wan-Bissaka play against someone like a Scotland where we're trying to score goals? Probably not.
Yeah.
Where would be the more dominant side? Whereas, so you obviously suggest him sort of playing in against a top opposition against a better winger like a France or a Belgium or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like that would be his sort of game.
I agree. My only debate to that is that I feel like if we do play we will play an opposition like that. I feel like we have to run into one of them by the semi-finals, don't we? So
if we get that far, it is England we're talking about.
Look, this is the squad we want to win.
We all remember 2014. That was
unfortunately
horrific. Yeah.
Don't forget Euro 2016 as well.
Yeah, that heartbreak. Cheers.
But for me, I feel like if we played an opposition like that, Southgate would drop into a back five. Sorry, not back six, back five, which is understandable because we still do hold a threat when we play a back three against teams like that. We've scored goals like that. I feel like we've even put 4 or 5 past Iceland playing a back three. Like playing a back three isn't really defensive, by the way. Like it obviously it is because you've got an extra defender, but the wing backs will get on. But that's the weakness I see in Wan-Bissaka in going forward, and he's obviously going to play as a wing back in if Southgate was to drop it into a back five, and that's where I see a weakness in his game, and I see James above him in my opinion.
Before I give you my assessment on what I think would be best, and I completely agree with what you just said. Big major news coming out of the Premier League.
I've just seen this. Did you see me a minute ago?
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't believe it when I just saw it on my phone. Nuno Espirito Santo will be leaving Wolves at the end of the season. That's crazy stuff. Definitely something we'll cover in the future, assessing that. But I thought we might as well break the news in the video for a bit of fun. I just couldn't believe my eyes.
We're recording this on the 21st of May, aren't we? And it's pretty much been announced at 2:00. Wolves have announced it, and
yeah, crazy stuff. But we'll cover that at some other point because I do feel like that's a conversation to be had. But anyway, so back to Reece James and Wan-Bissaka. For me, at the end of the day, you have to consider Southgate's system as well. And we've seen every time we've watched England, Gareth Southgate's England squad, he utilises fullbacks in an attacking sense almost every game. And if you're going off Southgate's system, you would take James over Wan-Bissaka for that attacking purpose. And obviously it helps that James can now slot into a centre-back role and look reasonably comfortable as well.
And in midfield, by the way. Not like he would play in midfield, but if we get 6 injuries or something.
He can certainly cut inside into those areas as well and roam well. But I think what we've seen is, fullbacks pushing forward under Southgate and then one of the more defensive midfielders dropping back into a back three when we're pushing forward. And then obviously the shape will change when we're pushing backwards again, more to a 4 at the back again sort of style. But we do transition into those sort of shapes. And I do feel like Reece James would fare better in a Southgate system. I have purely picked Wan-Bissaka over just technical ability alone for me. But I'm more than happy to choose Reece James over him for the purpose of Southgate's system.
Yeah, no, you made good points about Wan-Bissaka. But yeah, like you said, for me, James suits the system better, and ultimately, out of the 3 there, he's probably the least likely to start out of the 3. It's only for cover, really. Let's face it. Whereas Wan-Bissaka, I guess, would have that effect if he played a top opposition. But I feel like James would be fine against a player like that. I feel like his defensive ability is quite underrated. He's a strong boy and he's quick, and he packs a bit as well going forward. So, are we going to agree on Reece James.
Yeah, we'll agree on Reece James. By the way, that's 2 I've given to you so far. So I do feel like you might have to be more lenient with lenient with me later, Brandon.
I knew this was going to happen. Don't worry.
So, obviously we'll get on to centre backs now. I feel like this is a relatively quick conversation. Maybe the
The
backup.
first two, definitely.
Yeah, first 2, let's just agree now. Maguire, Stones. If Maguire is fit and can go, fantastic. We need him. He is essential to this England squad. And he's essential to Man United. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said today that he won't be in the Europa League final, which is a massive blow for them. But they do have some other quality like Eric Bailly that can step in his place.
For me, by the way, that Maguire missing out on that Europa League final makes it a certain win from Man United to, or actually, Villarreal might actually cause him a few problems there. But that's generally how big of a miss he is for me.
Yeah, 100%. Especially after this season, he's been so good for Man United. Probably his best career season, I think, for me. He's statistically one of the best in the league, probably only behind like Ruben Diaz this season. So yeah, hopefully Maguire will be fit, and I've got my fingers crossed, and I do feel like he will be. So yeah, Stones and Maguire, that's obvious. Now backups. Who have you gone for your 2 backup centre backs?
Well, you would have seen me reference this in Adam's Goal Anger podcast video if you've seen it. In fact, you've not seen it because it never went up in the end.
Yeah,
But it didn't go up in the end. But Tom will know what I'm on about. For me, if we switch to a back 3, which we know Southgate might do, or we might even start it, for me, Cody's the best person to play in the middle.
yeah.
We've seen him in a back 4 this season with 2 centre backs, and he's been exploited. I guess you can say he's not been at his best, although he played very well against Tottenham last week, something like that. But for me, in the back 3, the centre of that back 3, pinging balls, for me, I don't think there's anyone better. And I feel like he's a leader as well that we need in the squad.
Yeah, he's a good lad. He'd be great for the dressing room. Good hard-working centre back. Quite no nonsense, a bit of a retro centre back for modern style football. And he just plays well in the Premier League in general. Like, I think he's very consistent, one of the more consistent Wolves players, and he can actually drop into a CDM role when required.
Well, he was a midfielder by trade, wasn't he?
Exactly, yeah. So there's a bit of versatility to his game as well, which is always helpful for any international tournament. I'm going to ask you now for your second pick.
See, this is you guys wouldn't have seen this, but before we started, I kind of said that I've picked a player that hasn't been capped before. Well, obviously, Wan-Bissaka hasn't been capped, like Tom said.
Yeah.
But I've definitely been swayed by other YouTubers' videos. Put it that way. The previous video that we did record, I had Mings in, but for me, I got a lot of stick for it at the time from these 2.
Yep, I'm glad you've changed your mind. It's for the
I have
best.
changed my mind. You'll be glad to know. It's just the mistakes in him. I picked him last time solely based on the fact that he was a left-footed centre back, and it adds a bit more balance, especially if you play back 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, mistake prone and
not what you need in an international.
I don't think you can make. Yeah, I feel like him starting as well. If Maguire's say not fit and it's the Stones and Maguire, it doesn't work for me. So I've gone with the player that's shone at Everton this season. And it's hard because I don't watch the Premier League regularly.
If you say Mason Holdgate,
I'm not saying Mason Holdgate.
I will be very disappointed in you.
No, but he's had a really good season this year, and I feel like he's gone under the radar a little bit. And it's not Michael Keane; it's Ben Godfrey.
I don't know.
I saw this happening.
I don't know.
I don't know. Look, I don't know why. But look, Keane's a great option. He's been capped before. Southgate trusts him. And I'd have absolutely no problem with someone like Keane being in the squad. But Godfrey, for me, he's been so good this season. He's played in a back 3. He's played on the side of a back 3. He's quick, he's strong, he's tall, he's good with the ball at his feet. And he obviously, look, Michael Keane's a more senior player, obviously. So should he be in your squad or another option be in your squad, I'm happy to settle for it. But I feel like Ben Godfrey does deserve somewhat of a shout, and he might even feature in Qatar, maybe, should he have a good season next year for Everton as well. But look, I know Godfrey's not in your team, but look, I've seen it suggested by other YouTubers, and I thought I kind of like denied it at first. I was like, what? And like they'd like not had Cody. And I was like, how can you not put Cody in? But actually thinking about it, Godfrey, it's not the worst option in the world for me.
No, it's not a bad option, and there's definitely promise there for the future. He's not in my squad, but I just, I watched not long ago. I watched when Everton played Villa at home, and he just got tore to shreds by El Ghazi and Bertrand Traore, and it was concerning. To be honest, how poor it was. And I know that's all based off one performance, and you can't, just deny a player's whole season after one poor performance. I completely understand that. But I've spoken to so many Norwich fans this season, during the championship season, and they've all said how much better Ben Gibson is than Ben Godfrey.
Really?
And they feel like they've done some really good business there, selling Godfrey as much as they did to Everton. They were worried at the time, but when Ben Gibson came in, he was just like a whole level above Godfrey. And that I do think the fact that Ben Gibson has never had a proper run in the Premier League is frustrating in itself. But to hear that sort of praise over a player like Godfrey from quite a few Norwich fans, it's not just one or two. And obviously, Norwich have had a fantastic defence this season, so I don't doubt it. But for me, Godfrey, I just don't think he's ready yet. He definitely needs more time, particularly under a
That's
manager like Ancelotti.
that's fair enough. I understand that. That's fine.
Yeah, so my two that I've gone for, this one, I feel like he has not been mentioned enough for me. He has been in and around the England setup at times in Southgate's reign, but this season, you look at him statistically, he shouldn't be at Burnley. He just shouldn't be at Burnley. He's a
So you're
fantastic
going to
centre
say
back,
James
and that
Tarkowski.
is James Tarkowski.
See, when I was debating this before, I wanted to put James Tarkowski in. But for me, the only thing that swayed me towards Godfrey was the fact that Burnley I think they've won one in like 5 or 6, and they've lost quite a few games recently. But yeah, I've always rated Tarkowski, to be fair, mate.
Yeah, exactly. And I do feel like he could move on from Burnley soon enough. And he's honestly, statistically, this season it's been his personal best. Um, and he's done better than a lot of other international English players in that role this season in quite a poor Burnley squad, particularly
I
this
think they've
season.
underachieved this year, to be fair. But that's another video.
Yeah, exactly. We can review those another time. But no, Tarkowski makes it in for me. And also does Michael Keane. I've never been a massive admirer of Michael Keane, don't get me wrong, but first half of the season, I thought he was just unbeatable for Everton.
No, I agree. I remember saying this to you as well at the time.
Yeah.
Because Keane was in your squad when we did the Goalanger podcast, and yeah, I rate him. And to be fair, despite Godfrey, he has probably been Everton's standout centre back this year. Holgate's done well as well, but Keane's kind of glued that all together. And he's more experienced than you think now as well. He's played a lot of
Yeah.
games in his career,
Bit
despite his
more
baby
senior.
face. But in terms of the squad, then I'm happy to set for one each. I'm happy to drop Godfrey out and have Keane in maybe, and then so have Keane and Cody.
Yeah, I think Keane and Cody's probably the best two to pick there.
Although we know Southgate's going to pick Eric Dyer.
He will pick Dyer. Like, we all know he loves Eric Dyer. And to be honest, Eric Dyer on his day is a decent centre half. He's just part of a really, really mentality low right now Spurs side. And
I just think he's a penalty waiting to happen, to be honest.
Oh yeah, as well. He's got a few too many challenges in him. But he's the sort of player you wouldn't mind coming on in extra time or something in a knockout qualifier, just to bring some energy into a squad, but more in a CDM role than a centre back role, I feel.
Maybe. Although I feel like
Yeah.
Eric Dyer in the team against a France or something, should we get that far? You know the typical saying, let them know you're there early.
Yes.
Hey, Eric Dyer cutting through Mbappe. Oh,
it will happen. It will happen.
God save the Queen.
Um,
Right. So are we going to agree on those 4 then?
Yeah, we'll agree on those 4, and then I suppose we just move on to midfielders.
Right. They're the 4 on screen, guys, not the 4. They're the 4 centre backs on screen and the rest of the defenders. Let's move on to midfield. Right, guys. Now we're moving on to the midfielders. and this will be interesting. This is where sort of the numbers sometimes don't add up with squads, but it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see this. So we'll start Tom off. Shall we start with holding midfielders and sort of separate them from so you know your typical number 8s and number 10s?
All right then. I'll go through my sort of holding-esque midfielders. Realistically, I've got 3 players that could play a holding role. Or like a number 6 / number 8 or whatever. That's the obvious one is Declan Rice.
Yeah, for me, definitely. Despite his injury, I think he still gets him.
Yeah, 100%. Jordan Henderson.
Henderson's my extra player, so he's the second player of the additional players we've got.
Yeah, just squeezes himself in. And, you know, this next one, the third lad who I'm going to mention, he can play more central midfield, but he can play a holding role if needs be. I've seen him do it plenty of times myself, and that's Jude Bellingham. So, yeah, those are my 3 that I'm just going to throw out there now that are definitely in my squad.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the Welcome to the Channel video before, Tom's a Birmingham fan, so I'm not surprised.
If you couldn't tell from the giant Birmingham flag there either.
I actually forgot that was there, to be fair. But yeah, no, all 3 of those are in my squad. I've not got Bellingham down as a holding midfielder, unfortunately. But
just so long as he's in there, I don't care.
Bellingham's in there, mate. I think what I've seen from when the last international break finished, and you know we went back to domestic football and the Champions League came in, and you know I saw him against City, and I've watched a bit more of him really in playing for Dortmund, and I've been impressed by him. I've been really impressed, and I feel like even if he doesn't start, worst case scenario, he gets to experience the tournament.
Remember the days when you told me Sibley was 10 times better?
Typically is 10 times better.
Is he though? Oh dear.
Yeah. But anyway, so first 10 is Lewis Sibley. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah. So I've got Rice and Henderson, and Henderson's an interesting one. Obviously, I said he's my extra player from the additional 3 that we've had. So I've had 2 of the 3 now. Henderson, look, he's not going to play any minutes for the rest of the season for Liverpool. He's working back for fitness, so he's probably not going to start the tournament, and he might not even play any of the tournament. But for me, he's one of the biggest leaders we have in the squad, sort of co-owning that sort of role with Harry Kane. And you know, he's a winner. He's a winner. I think we want him in there, and yet, well, I don't think he needs any more explanation, to be honest.
Yeah. So have you just got those 2, or do you have another one that you want to mention?
I have a third.
Okay. Oh no.
Well, look,
Tom Huddleston.
No. Nah. Could you imagine? No. No. But basically, Henderson's not. I don't think he's going to be ready for the start of the tournament. He's not going to have played any football leading up to it. At least going to be ready for the start of the tournament. So for me, if we had the option of playing a double pivot,
exactly what you're going to say.
For me,
no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
My third holding midfielder,
KP,
is Calvin Phillips.
There we go. He said it.
Look, there's a reason Calvin Phillips is in all of the pundit squads, right? It's hard for us as fans because we don't watch the Premier League year in, year out. And even when I've seen Phillips play at championship level, well, it's a playoff final, playoff semi-final, so obviously. But look, I feel like better holding midfielders. I think he links the play well. Look, I'd start a midfield 3 of Declan Rice holding on his own. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't start Phillips, but he just gives him the option. We know Southgate's going to take him. And I feel like he's done all right for Leeds this season. I don't think he's really been that bad.
Yeah, he's had a good season. I actually think he's performed better in the Premier League than he did in the Championship.
I'd say so as well.
I just think the league has suited him a bit more, and that happens with some players. Because I'd say the tempo in the Championship is a lot higher than it is in the Premier League. I'd say the opposition is much more tough, but the pace that you're moving at in the Championship is a lot quicker than the Premier League.
It's just for me. Phillips is the next one down in that role. Obviously, if Henderson was fully fit, I probably wouldn't even take him anyway.
That's
But
fair enough.
I feel like Henderson's fitness doubt, breaks him into my squad.
So midfielder wise, I suppose you can include in this central midfielders and sort of central attacking midfielders. Who have you gone with? Because I've got quite a few. I'm just going to count now quickly. Actually,
So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got about 5, 4 or 5.
yeah, excluding the holding midfielders, I've got 5 players that are down as midfielders. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll start with obviously you had Bellingham as a holding midfielder. I've got him down as a normal midfielder. Look, they're all in midfield. They're all in the
I'd
same
much rather
category.
he was a normal midfielder. I just included him in there just in case.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Bellingham's in my squad, like I already explained. And then for me, the first name in there is Mason Mount. I don't think there's any debate about that. I think he had a lot of doubters at first, but he's just showed how good he is, really, and he's our marquee player in there. And he's a box talks midfielder as well. Don't forget, he's good going the other way. Don't get me wrong. I saw it at Derby myself. So we've got Mount, Bellingham in there. Louis Stibley. Wait, no, I'm still joking.
Oh, dear.
So yeah, and I've got Phil Foden in there. Although for me, especially my team, he'd probably feature more as a wide player. But he's a midfielder, isn't he? So I've got him in there as a midfielder.
Okay.
I've got Jack Grealish in there. He's started to play some minutes coming back now for Aston Villa. Obviously, he's not going to be fully fit going into the tournament. Would he even play anyway? Probably not. But he is a good talent. He's a great talent for me. And he's had a really good season this season. And he'll terrify defenses over there. And he'll win us set pieces as well, don't forget.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're pretty strong off them, depending on the players Southgate picks. But yeah, I've gone Grealish and Foden, and then my fifth one is James Ward-Prowse.
If I'm not mistaken, I do believe we've virtually said almost all the same bar like one.
Who's the one?
Jesse Lingard.
Okay, so I was having debate with Tom about this before we started.
You can all laugh with me. It's a joke that Jesse Lingard's not in his team, but here we are.
Really?
It is. Look at it now.
I would take Lingard if I had an extra play. If I could take out a goalie, maybe. But
you take Ward-Prowse over Jesse Lingard.
Yes, because for me, if you don't take Ward-Prowse, you've only got one first team fully fit, ready for the tournament, number 8 in Mason Mount, and then you've sort of got 2 10s in Foden and Grealish. And look, Jesse Lingard's a number 10, right? We all know he is. I don't see the purpose in taking 3 players that can all play in a number 10. I just don't. I don't see it personally.
I'd be taking Lingard over Grealish, and that's not just because I'm a Blues fan. That's just because Grealish, he's not played many Premier League games for 3 months now.
No, I agree. But I feel like Grealish probably wouldn't have played a lot anyway. Like, I feel like Mount is already over him. Like, if it depends what formation you play. Maybe if you play a 3, there's definitely no place for him. But look, we don't know what Southgate's going to do realistically. Look, I've got Ward-Prowse, and his set pieces are exceptional, as we all already know. Southgate trusts him. He breaks into the box really well. He plays there naturally for his club. And yeah, like I said before, other than Mount, I feel like he's the next sort of natural number 8 with Jude Bellingham. And I feel like Foden and Grealish is enough to play as number 10s.
Yeah, I understand that point. I do, but I just feel like Jesse Lingard, off current form, you can't not take him. You always have to take that one player that's just in red hot form, even if he's been naff for how many years. There's always that one player. You tend to get them virtually every year. They'll sort of make a late sprint. I do think he'll pick Lingard because he liked him in the World Cup, and I thought Lingard was fantastic in that World Cup squad. And that's the Lingard we're seeing again, and it's really great to see. So I'll list mine for you now. Jesse Lingard, Phil Foden, Mason Mount, Jack Grealish, and James Ward-Prowse.
So James Ward-Prowse is actually in your squad.
Yeah, he was my wild card.
It's because Phillips is in mine, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's where the numbers have counteracted each other. Yeah, like I say, if Henderson was fully fit, Phillips wouldn't be in my squad. But yeah, for me, I wouldn't be comfortable out of my team anyway, not going in with just one fit number 8 and then 3 number 10s. But I am, if you're happy going in with one holding midfielder fully fit and one not, if you're happy with that,
I'm
then
happy to do that. Yeah.
I'm willing to go with yours.
Okay. So everyone that I've basically just listed there, we leave out Calvin Phillips.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd say that's fair. So you've got Jesse Lingard, Declan Rice, Phil Foden, Jordan Henderson, Mason Mount, Jude Bellingham, Jack Grealish, and James Ward-Prowse.
I think that's it, yeah.
Yep, fair enough. That's
Vote in the poll above, guys. Who do you think should be in this squad between ours, Jesse Lingard or James Ward-Prowse? Even though both of them have
or
ended
even
up...
Calvin Phillips. You might as well.
Or
chuck
even
him in
Calvin
the
Phillips.
poll.
I don't know what Tom's going to chuck on the poll, but let's just see how it goes.
I'll put as well as the fourth one. Other, please comment down below. Or something.
We need the comments.
We do.
Please.
We do need the comments. But
So
no,
that's it for the midfielders.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm glad you've compromised on that. So
I had to, didn't I? I would have got too much stick.
Yeah, I feel like we're 2-2 on compromises now, to be fair. But I feel like going into the attackers, it could be relatively more simple. But I do think there's one.
I think there'll be one player different. I think there'll be one.
So do I. So yeah, that's our midfielders, guys. They'll be all listed there for you to see clearly on the screen. So let's get on to the attackers. So, guys, attackers. Let's look at it, shall we? I think we'll start with wingers. Naturally wingers. So obviously we've mentioned in the midfielders there are some players there that can play on either wing. So your Foden or your Grealish that can play on the wing for their clubs.
Or Mount, even, to be fair.
Yeah, even Mount. But obviously we've included them in our midfielders because that's just their more natural position. So I've got down 2 natural wingers, and I'll let you read yours first. How many have you got?
I've got down 3.
Ooh.
But one can play as a striker. You can probably guess who that is.
Yeah.
In fact, let's just go with that first.
I've got 3. Yeah, no, I'll back that.
There you go then. We'll just start with that then. It's Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay then. I feel like that's pretty
that's certified, really, isn't it?
That's certified. His numbers this year have been good. He's a threat in behind. He's a goal scorer. I've not always been fully convinced by Marcus Rashford, especially this season. But yeah, he goes for me.
100%. I completely agree with you. I think he's probably had, and I think he's had more consistent seasons, but statistically overall, if you look at his stats this season, he's had a good season. Season.
He has had a good season.
I think the reason why we talk about it not probably being his best is down to consistency. He'll go a month of scoring loads of goals and then can go on a dry patch for 2 months and then get back at it again. That's just how his season has gone, really. And I think that's just down to Man United's form.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of the time, Man United's system will have an impact on how he plays.
100%, yeah. But I think Rashford still makes it for me. And I feel like the next 2 are pretty simple as well. I've gone for Sterling and Sancho.
I've also gone for Sterling and Sancho. Although I feel like Sterling has had a very, well, by his standards, a below average season. And his numbers aren't as good as they have been the last, 2, 3, 4 seasons. But we know his statistics have been good, and it's been Jadon Sancho. His statistics are through the roof.
Exactly.
And although he wasn't in my squad when we filmed the Goal Hanger podcast, that didn't go up, Adam. But Sancho's in for me. And I think the extra 3 players has actually given us a bit more room to play with as well, which is, he's not my extra player, but the whole squad looks better as a result of those extra 3 players for me. 100%. So yeah, Sancho Sterling for me.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I completely agree. I feel like that one was relatively easy for us. I feel like we might get a bit of stick from Arsenal fans. I feel like I can already hear, where's Saka? Where's Bukayo Saka?
Look, Saka's had a good year, but not ready for me.
He's not ready yet.
And who do you leave out anyway, realistically?
Exactly. Maybe in Qatar, he'll be ready.
Maybe in Qatar.
Yeah, so we'll see, but just not yet for me. So strikers. Let's just get the obvious one out there. Harry Kane. Harry Kane goes. Right.
Harry Kane's the captain. He's going to go. He's one of the best strikers, finishers in the world. Although the move, well, him wanting to move in the summer might play on his mind.
I
Like
was gonna
we're
say
clutching at straws, but
we are a bit. We'll see.
in fact, we could probably make a video on that. To be
We
fair,
could. Which
but,
destination will be best for Harry Kane? Let us know if you want to see that video, guys.
or will he even move?
Oh.
Yeah, but yeah, dramatic moment. But yeah, Kane's in for me, and I feel like we'll agree on the second one as well. Maybe
Okay, go on then. Who have you got next?
Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yes, we do agree.
Yeah, he's had a brilliant season, hasn't he? And he's a different player to Kane. He's really good in the air. He's quick. He runs the channels well. It's not as natural of a finisher. Don't get me wrong. And he's, as Gary Neville said on that Monday Night Football episode, he's a bit erratic in his finishing. But for me, he's merited a place in the squad this season. And he's has he not scored 2 goals for England as well? 2-3 already. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
I'm pretty sure he scored in his debut. To be fair.
Yeah, so for me, Calvert-Lewin's in.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm glad that
Who's your third striker, Thomas?
This is the one where we said there might be a bit of debate. This is my wild card. So this is my third and final pick of the extra 3 that have been added to the 23 and now 26. There's a few you can list. There is a few, there's Tammy Abraham, Danny Ings, Mason Greenwood, Ollie Watkins. There is a few you can bring up. But for me, I've gone for Mason Greenwood down to, yes, I know he's very young and may not have the experience that the others have, but he is just such a good finisher and he is versatile in the sense that he can play in wide areas as well. So that just adds a bit more to his game. And he's just been in red hot form this season. And I feel like it's hard to leave a player out like that. And that's not saying that the other players haven't been in good form, because first half of the season, I thought Tammy Abraham was quite impressive. And obviously Ollie Watkins overall has had a good season. And Danny Ings, yet again, maybe not as good as last season due to injury, but has still had a good season when he has played. So it is tough. But for me, Mason Greenwood gets my last pick.
Yeah, mate, that's completely fair enough. I feel like that's we look at Kane. If Kane gets injured, that's the main problem, because no one else is going to start from. It's if Kane gets injured, and we've obviously seen his track record. I think he's had 6 ankle injuries in the last 3 seasons or something. He's got his track record. So there's a chance that he could get injured. Obviously, he was a top goal scorer in the last tournament as well. Mason Greenwood, as Gary Neville also said on that Monday Night Football episode, he's after him. He believes he's the best natural finisher. Would you agree?
I would agree, yeah. I think, don't get me wrong, you could say someone like James Ward-Prowse could even contest that, because he is a fantastic finisher, particularly from set pieces. But for me, especially in open play, Mason Greenwood, he's just pinpoint. He's just pinpoint virtually every time. But so is Danny Ings. I feel like Danny Ings is a very clinical finisher as well. So maybe not as emphatic, but he gets the job done.
I also like the idea of him being versatile in the sense he can play out wide. He's probably, like they've sort of mentioned on Sky as well, is that he's probably not built enough. He's still a young lad, so he's probably not quite built right. He plays a lone striker. Yeah. So because of that, I've gone down the same route in terms of I've gone for a more natural finisher. But I've gone for someone who's more experienced. He's scored for England before. He's played for England more before. And look, injuries also hinder him as well to an extent. But for me, he's. I feel like if one of them was to fill in for Kane in a tournament, out of these two, my option I'd feel more comfortable with. And like you mentioned, with all the strikers before, it's Danny Ings.
Yeah. I had a feeling you were going to pick Danny Ings over Greenwood, and I understand it. I do feel like Southgate will pick Greenwood over Ings, because I don't even think he's even picked Ings yet, let alone
he picked him in the last squad.
Yeah, but I feel like there was quite a few injuries in that one. So I don't know. I'd like to see Ings go. I think it'd make a nice change. it'd be quite exciting to see him go. But it's also exciting to see how someone as young as Mason Greenwood would fare in an international tournament. But he's performed so well on the global stage already, and it doesn't really seem to phase him. So no, it would. I want Greenwood to go personally, but I'd like to also see Ings go. I don't. I know there's going to be Villa fans possibly in the comments if we had any Villa
Yeah,
viewers talking about Ollie
yeah,
Watkins. It's not
especially because you're a
bias.
Birmingham fan.
Yeah, it's not
No,
bias. It's just not as.
yeah,
It's that simple.
no, but look, there's two players that have had better seasons than both players that we mentioned, and that's Patrick Bamford and Ollie Watkins. They've had better goal scoring seasons
Yeah.
this year. But look, we want to win the tournament. This squad is about picking the right squad that's going to win the tournament. If Kane gets injured, for me, I'd rather have an Ings in than an Ollie Watkins. Or Patrick Bamford's a similar player to Harry Kane.
Not quite as gifted.
Yeah, and look, I think Ings is a really gifted player, and so is Mason Greenwood. And despite the Iceland incident, Greenwood has to be in the squad at some point, maybe Qatar.
Yeah.
For me, I've obviously picked Ings for this squad, but
I think I'm going to go with you on this one. You know, I'm feeling Danny Ings. I feel like this is his last chance at international glory, and I hope Southgate recognises that. Greenwood has got a whole international future ahead of him right now, and everyone knows it. He will be in that squad in Qatar. There is no doubt. We can look back in this video in a year's time and be like, oh, look, Mason Greenwood's in the Qatar squad. No surprise there. I do feel he'll be there. But Danny Ings, this is last chance saloon for him now. If he is going to have international success, this is the time to do it. And I feel like for that reason, I would sway towards Danny Ings, actually, you know.
Are you locking that in?
I am locking that in. I've locked
Well,
it
it's
in.
a good job because I was about to move to Mason Greenwood. So there you go.
Were you actually?
You know what? You know what it was? It was the fact that Danny Ings has also got a bit of an injury record as well.
Oh, yeah, of course, definitely.
But look, they're both great options, and I feel like it has to be one of the two. I feel bad for Ollie Watkins and Bamford, and to be fair, he still might pick Watkins. His pacing behind will definitely cause problems, but and obviously he was in the last squad. But look, this is our squad, and look, Southgate, we know more than you, mate.
We do.
We don't.
Listen
we
to
don't.
us.
We don't. By the way, anyone on Twitter that
No.
says that the Southgate's clueless or there's that, just shut up, right? Just shut up. This man knows what he's on about. Okay.
He's not the best manager.
This is going to come. This is going to come back to bite me, isn't
right.
it? Look, he's a pragmatic manager. In 2-3 years' time, when this squad is at its peak with the younger players, he's probably not going to be the right man to take it forward. But at the minute, look, we want to win the tournament. This is about winning the tournament. It's not playing beautiful football. You know,
win how you win. Doesn't matter how you win.
How you win doesn't. It's about winning the tournament. Let's face it, and let's just get behind Southgate, lads. All right. I know everyone's split on their opinions about him, but come on, he did well at the last tournament. Obviously, the first time he come up against, a bit more of a formidable opponent, we lost. But look, Southgate's had time to work with these players now for more years, and look, I trust in Southgate. I know a lot of people don't, but realistically, who are you going to replace him with?
I'm on and off with him, but I trust him for the tournament personally.
Yeah, look, like I said, maybe in a few years' time, there's a better man to take us forward. But at the minute, there's been no emergence for me. And I think the best chance of us winning this tournament is maybe a bit more of a pragmatic style. And this squad has sort of been picked based around that for me.
No, I think that's fair enough.
And that is going to wrap up the video, guys. So thank you for watching. Please vote on the polls that Tom's going to put in on the edit because I can't edit. Please vote on the polls. Please get your comments down. We want to hear everyone's got it. Look, it's a debate channel. We've already mentioned this in the channel trailer. We want to get everyone involved. Tweet us at Project Football. It's not at Project Football, is it? Tom will put the out on the screen now.
The at will be on the screen for you guys, so you can go.
And all the links will be in the descriptions as well. So yeah, please subscribe, guys. Like the video and comment your thoughts. Don't give us too much stick, please. But yeah, that's it from us, guys. From me, bye, and then Tom.
Yeah, that's pretty much it from me, guys. Keep right on as always, and we'll see you in the next one.
Do not keep right on.
See you in a bit, guys.